Max from the UFL here. Brandon over there. This is going to be our recap video of all the sports that we've missed on our hiatus there. Beautiful day out in British Columbia for once. It's been horrible springtime here so far. So yeah, a nice sunny day. So we got out, and now that's obviously why we're in a vehicle. And it's not even our vehicle. I don't know whose this is.
We just kind of jumped in it. Keys were in it, so.
Keys are in it too. So
took it for a spin.
Nice rig. And anywho, let's just jump right into it. The first thing on my mind is they just lost. They had a 10-game win streak. They took a loss to the Coyotes, and then they just won again. How good do the Vegas Golden Knights look right now?
Well,
unreal.
They have the biggest it a 10-game streak? I wasn't paying attention.
10-game win streak.
Yeah, like I was.
They have the
biggest
goal difference in the league is Vegas right now, I believe, and they have the most points. And Colorado's right there. The whole hockey universe wants Colorado versus Vegas. If that is the second round of the playoffs, that would be totally insane. Down for that would be insane. Other news, MLB, our favorite team, the Minnesota Twins, 10 wins, 16 losses. Their team is so good on paper where I was like, okay, we're easy playoffs. Mm-hmm. Starting out rough, big game today, obviously. They won 13-4. Byron Buxton is a complete god. I had a fantasy draft with a bunch of randoms, and right away they were on the comment board calling me an idiot for picking up Byron Buxton way too early. All of a sudden, this home run leader, he's run, and now I think I've gotten like 6 trades for him, and I ain't trading him.
I can vouch for him too. When it comes to fantasy, you don't mess with this guy because he knows his shit.
I'll mess you up. Doesn't matter what sport.
I went 11-3 this season in my hockey league.
Yeah.
And
he just lost the finals in our fantasy hockey league. We have one with the guys that we actually know, and we play for $1,200 every season. Everyone puts in $100. There's 12 people. He was the season winner, so 11-3. He's the President's Trophy basically. Mm-hmm. So he wins $300, and now 2 of our buddies are in the finals. The loser gets $300, and the winner gets $600. So he was going for $900. He lost, but it's okay. 3 people are going to get paid this year.
Would have won, but, Buddy had McDavid, and McDavid had way too good of a week.
And Nuge.
Gone.
McDavid and Nuge on the same team, which is insane because he has Pettersson and Stamkos on his IR list.
I also have most points forward and least points against in my whole fucking league.
Yeah.
So.
And NBA news. Who's first place in the league? Utah Jazz. They are looking so good right now. So are the Phoenix Suns. When is the last time you heard anything about the Phoenix Suns being relative besides when Steve Nash was on the team?
Honestly, forgot they were a team.
Yeah,
if I put it
now,
that way.
now they're like second place in the league. You got Utah in first. It's finally fun to watch. You don't have Golden State Warriors and LeBron James in the finals for 5 years in a row. Mm-hmm. Now it's just the Brooklyn Nets. So the one thing about basketball still is just the super teams. They need a hard cap salary so bad. I just can't stand for these all-stars playing on the team. And then they walk around with their rings like they won something.
Yeah, it's like...
You beat a bunch of bums and you guys are 4 all-stars on the same team.
Like, if you have a fucking team that has, like, basically unlimited cash flow, you can expect they're going to have one of the better teams because they can literally pick anybody up they want. So.
Yeah, and it's a 5-on-5 sport. Like, football's completely different. There's so many people. Obviously, there's always going to be people moving around. I don't think there's another sport with that little of people like basketball where they just jump around at their own leisure. Like, it feels like the general managers almost have zero say, and it's just like,
pretty much.
I want to go to Lakers. I want to go to the Lakers now.
Yeah. Like, all right.
All right, see you later. I guess we lose you, and go sign for $600 million for 2 years. I really don't get it. Football news. The draft went 3 QBs went off in the first round. The Colts with their 21st pick. I love the name. The guy's name is Kwity Paye. And who was the second round? There was someone else. I don't know. Someone had a great fantasy name if you're a Colts fan because the second guy's name I forget. So I'm going to go off the rails on that and just forget about it because I completely forget the guy's last name. But yeah, Kwity Paye. That's a football name and a half. They got some weird names in there. UFC, a lot has happened in a year. God, I could do a full 24-hour video of what happens over the years. So keep it simple there. You got Francis Ngannou knocking the shit out of Miocic for the belt, and then you have Kamaru Usman still a belt holder. Adesanya still a belt holder. 3 Nigerians with belts. There's some scary people coming out of Nigeria.
Yeah.
So the 170-pound Nigeria, 185 Nigeria, the heavyweight Nigeria, the only person in the middle of that is the light heavyweight with Jan Blachowicz from Poland. All of a sudden, some random Polish guys out there. Yeah, there's some big fights. McGregor, Poirier 3 is going to come back out. I'm not actually even excited. A lot of people are done with the McGregor scene. I'm done with that. I'm not even excited for that fight at this point. I'm more excited for the Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards on that card. And then there's the next one coming up is Vettori versus Adesanya. It's going to be a good fight, but I'm more excited for the Figueiredo and Moraines. I think that's his last name, but their first fight was unreal. I think it went to a draw. So yeah, that rematch is going to be crazy. Soccer news, nothing. Pittsburgh, first place in the division. Everyone was saying this is going to be their downfall. We got to trade everybody and start the rebuild. First place in the hardest division in hockey too, by the way. You got the Maple Leafs in first in their crap division. The Canadian division is just a complete crapshoot. The Leafs have 71 points, and then the next team has like 62. And then you have some divisions, like the Pittsburgh division, where it's like 76 points, 73, 73. Like, the Canadian second place team wouldn't even crack the playoffs in like other divisions. That's how weak it is. The goalies are just awful in the Canadian division right now. But apparently it's the Leafs here again. They've been saying it since 1967. Not meaning to piss off all the Leaf fans, but you do it, and you do this every year. You get your hopes up too much. You just gotta see, as a Pittsburgh fan, in 2016 and 17, it was just like, no, we ain't gonna win. There's no way we're gonna win that. But in the back of the head, you know you're gonna win. So you keep it to yourself, but you play it off like you're not, and then all of a sudden you win. Toronto fans, no, they just gotta let you know it's their year.
They scream to the fucking sky all year long that they're gonna win, and then they lose their shit.
And then they get Jake Muzzin, and they're gonna plan the parade, and he puts up 2 points average in fantasy. So, yeah, so the playoffs are looking interesting already. The format obviously completely different because of all the Canadian teams. So who knows how they're gonna get Canada into the States? They'll probably do another bubble for the playoffs, which are coming up fairly soon. Most of the teams have already clinched, but there is some teams that can still hop up and get in there, which is funny because they keep talking.
Who is first in the Canadian division?
Toronto. It's Toronto.
It is Toronto.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're first by a mile. I think they're the only team to clinch in the Canadian division, where all the other divisions, like 3 teams have clinched, and they're just fighting for that last spot. Where the Canadians are a complete crapshoot, and you can just get in there because Calgary almost has to win every game.
I'm not a Canucks fan, but they got screwed over big time. Like playing, 14 consecutive games in a row they had to do?
Well, now they're going to have to do more because most teams have played at least 50 to 52 games, and I believe the Canucks have only played 41 because they took a month off of COVID. That whole team got smacked with COVID. And obviously the Adam Gaudette trade, because of it, that's another thing I want to talk about. The Adam Gaudette trade for Matthew Highmore. Both of us aren't Canuck fans by any means, even though we live in British Columbia. You know, it'd be nice to see them win at least once in a lifetime. Sure. Like, we don't hate them, but God, listening to Jim Benning, like, no matter what he does, he just has to put his word like he won something. But like, you got Adam Gaudette, who can score goals like he's a third-line centerman. And he can play that full two-way game. He's got way more games played, but he has like 70 points, I think, in the NHL. Where Matthew Highmore, in like 5 seasons, I think Matthew Highmore has 79 games played. He has 4 goals.
That's bad.
Yeah, and then he comes out on the radio. He's like, yeah, you know, he just here, I'll give you my Benning impression. Yeah, he brings a speed, I think he plays a more complete two-way game, and if given the chance, I think he can score like him too.
There's
You got
defensemen that
shafted
score
on
better
that
than
trade.
he does.
Shafted on that trade. Gaudette's 24,
Yeah,
Highmore's
he's-
25. You put Highmore in any other team, maybe Buffalo, LA, he's not cracking that roster. He's going to go play in the AHL. He's going to be on Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, and he's not going to play in the NHL. That's Matthew Highmore to me anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's just talking it off like how it's just a great signing, and it's so perfect because Gaudette just scores and gets an assist like his first game with Chicago.
Speaking of Benning, too, I don't know if anybody saw in the news. I think it was last week. A whole whack of people in Vancouver decided to rent a plane to fly a banner over the city that said "Fire Benning."
That's Canadian sport. That's Canadian hockey.
For sure. I thought that was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, they're not scared to let you know that they're not happy. Obviously, losing Pedersen for half the year was a huge blow, but they should have still done better. They got to re-sign Pedersen and Quinn Hughes with a limited cap space. I think they have $14 million available.
Who
And
did they just lose because of the allegations too? Was
Jake Virtanen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked about that in the last video. Jake Virtanen just got off the Canucks. They gave him a leave of absence. I don't really want to talk about it too much until I hear more about it because obviously we don't know if he's guilty of it or not.
I mean, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. Innocent till you're proven guilty, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you should be off the team. Just like,
Well, they only gave him the leave. Like, they're not
Yeah.
saying, hey, you did it. They gave him a leave out so he can deal with this, so you don't have
Yeah,
to
I
be
guess
on
that's
the
true.
road while all this
Yeah.
shit's... Look at Panarin. He's wearing a Panarin jersey. This is a Panarin Columbus jersey, by the way.
the old one.
And, yeah, Panarin and the Putin thing, the team, yeah, go ahead, please leave and take your time. I think that's kind of what the Canucks are doing with Virtanen. And, yeah, obviously we're not going to get into it, and I'm not going to even... It was like a sexual assault allegation from 2017, so we'll let them deal with that, and that's all we're going to say about that.
See what happens down the road.
Yeah. But anywho, you got to sign Pedersen, and you got to sign Quinn Hughes. I don't think they want to do a bridge deal. And both those guys are probably going to be looking for more than $7 million a season. You have $14 million in cap space. What does Jim Benning do? Goes and signs Pearson for $3.7 million a year for 3 years. Just eating up. But you couldn't keep Toffoli for $4.2 million a year, and now Toffoli has 26 goals for the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
More goals than I believe any Canuck player has. So
Pretty much.
yeah, and what else has old Benning been a part of? You know, Juolevi. They drafted Juolevi, and who came out next? Matthew Tkachuk was the next pick. If the Canucks had Matthew Tkachuk,
That'd be
unreal.
yeah.
It would be Calgary that hates you. But no, you hate Calgary because they have Tkachuk. It would
And
be
they're
the
better
other
than
way
you.
around. Yeah, it would be the other way around, and you would love Tkachuk.
Yeah.
And then you have Jake Virtanen, 6th overall. When you have Nikolai Ehlers, the next, like right there, you got Nikolai Ehlers, and then who went 26 over Pasternak. Pasternak's over a point per game for Boston. You had all these great players there, and you chose Virtanen and Juolevi, and these scouts are paid huge money to find these guys and know if they're gonna bust or not. And obviously, Juolevi, I could see why they took it. He had a great World Juniors. He's a big defense for us, but he's just not panning out. And Virtanen was just a joke of a signing. I remember all the Canuck fans just being like, we got the Chuck,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden Virtanen came out, and we are like, I think they just chose him because he's from BC, because he's from Langley, BC. Unreal. So this video kind of turned into bashing the Canucks here. Not even really bashing the Canucks.
There's a lot of talk about.
There's just a
'cause
lot. Yeah, there's a
they've-
lot of talk about the
There's
Canucks.
been a lot going on with them.
And the Holtby signing is looking dumber and dumber. I guess we could talk about the Seattle expansion too. Who they're gonna? Because I was just, if you watch the last video, who knows if it's gonna be the last video when we post this. But I did a Seattle expansion draft, a kind of a mock draft someone did, and then I gave my opinions on it. They have Seattle taking Jake Virtanen, and right away I said after these allegations, I don't think Seattle's taking him. Do they take Holtby then? Because I still agree 110% their starting goalie for Seattle is going to be Anton Khudobin from the Dallas Stars. They have 2 goalies, and that's who they're going to get rid of. And they're going to take Anton Khudobin. Why not have Holtby in the backup there? And if they can get Josh Bailey from the New York Islanders, they're not going to be that... I know they're going to have great defense. They're going to have great goalies. They're first line forwards is the only thing that's going to be hurting of them because they just don't have that all-star. And they're not going to have a William Karlsson type player that scores 40 goals randomly in a season, even though the last time he played it was like 16 goals and randomly a 40-goal season comes out. Even though Karlsson has never repeated that performance, Karlsson is light years better than when he was on the Ducks or anything like that.
Speaking of the draft, too, it's on my birthday this year, so you can expect that we'll definitely be doing a video. We're probably going to be
It's
drunk,
a good draft party.
but it's going to be good.
Draft party.
It's going to be good.
Yeah,
So
big draft party for sure.
we'll be live for the whole thing for that, for sure.
And they're going to have a top 5 pick in this draft, Seattle, right off the bat. So,
yeah, they can't touch Vegas, right?
yeah, Vegas
okay, I
does
thought
not
so.
lose a player, which is insane in my mind. Vegas is so good and they don't lose a player. Vegas, and Vegas might even win the cup this year, and they don't have to
be
lose
cool
a player.
to see.
Yeah, because everyone's like, "Oh, they're going to lose Fleury in the draft." I'm like, I think you forget they don't lose a player.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're officially a team too. They can now sign players. They can trade for players. Obviously, I think once the playoffs are over. But they're officially a team. They can start doing stuff now. They made their final payment, and here comes the Seattle Kraken. I guess he's got the hat on there. Look at that logo.
Honestly, when this logo came out, I was pretty stoked.
As I said, even
one of my
the last
favorites in
video,
the
I
last
showed
while
the
that's come
jerseys,
out.
and it's kind of like the Blue Jackets, like obviously the teal and blue. It's mostly teal and blue, but just like the Blue Jackets jerseys, there's just enough red to give you that accent, but there's not too much red.
Yeah,
Like it's basically
just right.
just a line of red, and the red looks. If anyone knows anything about teal, red goes so good with teal. Goes good with like most things, I guess. But
I guess that's gonna be the next thing. I'm gonna have to grab a new jersey pretty soon here.
yeah, I'm gonna have to break down and get a Seattle jersey. I want to see
Yeah.
what those white ones look like.
I still need to get myself a red, a gold, and a white Vegas jersey.
Yeah.
So I mean, if anyone has any that they want to get rid of, send them my way.
Yeah, he'll take them off your hands for sure. Yeah, there's a few jerseys we need. I need my Barkov Panthers jersey so bad, and now that I have Kaprizov as my keeper in my keeper league, I'm definitely gonna have to get a Minnesota Wild jersey now with Kaprizov on the back. So it's gonna be bad. I'm gonna
It'd be cool to
buying
get
jerseys
their
again.
alternate that just came out, the retro one with Capri's on the back.
Yeah, what is their retro? Oh yeah,
It's like
the old
yeah.
early 2000s.
I love the
yeah.
colors on that jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those retros are unreal. The
And then
Florida
you
one.
got Detroit with the practice jersey. I thought that was hilarious. Like they have a lot of cool vintage jerseys, and it was probably the worst jersey I've ever seen come out in like the last.
It was awful.
I don't
And,
even
and
know
then
how
the
long.
New York Islanders just went with their 2011 jersey.
Yeah,
they
like you got the
didn't even switch
sickest
it.
old alternate logo, like the
you got the
fisherman.
fisherman.
Like you don't use it. Like
You got the fisherman, and you don't use the fisherman.
yeah, something's not right there.
Yeah. Another thing too, look up the new third jersey for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. Beautiful. It is unreal.
Didn't the hockey guy post that one?
Yeah, so
Okay,
I put it on
I
his
saw
story on
that,
Instagram.
yeah.
Oh, it
That's
looks
pretty sick, actually.
I need to get
Yeah,
one of those.
you
That'd be my
definitely need
first
that.
Wilkes-Barre jersey.
Yeah.
Other than that, I guess we covered hockey pretty well there.
I think we covered.
I guess we
hockey,
weren't even here on the
covered
finals. The
fighting,
last we were here, we didn't even know that because Tampa Bay is going to be defending their Stanley Cup. Obviously, they beat the Dallas Stars last year in a very. That was.
It was such a bad season for me to watch anyway.
It
that,
was
like,
me too. I found it so boring.
I actually forgot Tampa won until you just said that. It's been.
I
that
walked
long
in the
since I paid
door.
Attention.
I walked in the door of my house. It's on the TV, my cousin's big screen,
Yeah.
and I look over, start taking off my shoes, and then I double take, and there's 30 seconds left in the third, and all of a sudden they're throwing their hands up, and I was
Yeah.
like, and then they're like, "We won the Stanley Cup." And it's like, that was a Stanley Cup. It's like I've never missed a Stanley Cup Finals, but it was
Yeah.
just without the crowd there, and that fake crowd noise pumped in. I don't know. I just lost touch with the NHL there.
Speaking of which, too, didn't they switch one of their sports channels or some shit
Who's that?
for the NHL? Didn't they sign a contract with a new sports like TNT or some shit? They got rid
I
of
think
NBC.
so, or something.
I remember seeing something last week about that.
Maybe it starts next season.
Probably,
I don't
yeah.
know, but
I can't see them cutting it right in the middle of
Yeah.
the playoffs, but
yeah, I'm not too sure what the
we'll dig more into that.
what the situation is on that one. Yeah, Philly's out of the playoffs. That's a beautiful sight. Even though they have a pretty good team on paper, and they just couldn't do anything. Carter Hart had a horrible start to the season, which never helps when your goalie is having a horrible season, even though he's 24 years old. He's going to come around, but
Oh yeah, just needs his. Everybody has that one season. Some have more than that,
Yeah.
and they just end up being not good players.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, I think that guy's got a chance for sure.
I think the biggest shocker this season was the LA Kings. So Kopitar and Doughty, they just out of nowhere again, back to
Yeah,
the
like
old ways.
Kopitar has been pretty freaking quiet for the
Dustin
last,
Brown,
Yeah, that
almost
too.
20 goals. Like,
Yeah,
jeez.
impressive. Like he told me to pick Kopitar up on our fantasy league at the beginning of the year last year, and I was like, I'm not picking up Kopitar. Like, at the time, I was like,
Well, the Kings,
he's a plug. Like,
yeah, and he has no. He's not a plug. His team's
Yeah.
a bunch of plugs.
His
He
team's
has
a
no
plug,
supporting
yeah.
cast. He had no wingers with him. So it's like, how many points is he really gonna get?
yeah,
The guy just does it himself. Get on my back, team.
kind of like Kane. I always
Yeah,
joke that
God.
Chicago should change their name to the Kane Hawks because he basically
I know, and
carries them on their back.
everyone was giving you flack for because you keep keeping him. Oh, he's getting older. He's gonna drop off. And then our we won't name anyone, but our general manager of our league that we're in, he's like. He's going to be so undermotivated with that crappy Chicago team that he's going to score like 10 goals and 20 assists. He's like in top 5 for points.
Yeah.
32 years old.
And that's the thing. Like since I've kept him the last. Has it been 3 or 4 years now?
I don't think you've ever not had him.
I took him off my bench one time, and that one
Yeah.
time he had like
But you drafted
A
him right from the
ridiculous
start,
week.
did you not?
yeah, I did.
Has he been with you the
The entire time. I haven't
Yeah.
got rid of him once.
Yeah.
Because like that's the thing with Kane. Like he could have like 3 bad weeks.
That's
He
the
still
only-
makes points throughout the week.
That's the
enough
only guy that you've
matters.
had for the full 3 years because we've been doing this for 3 years now, and yeah, he's had Kane the entire 3 years, and I have one. Like I've had Barkov for the entire 3 years. The rest has all been trades of free agencies. He has Panarin in our league, and there's a funny story about that. Is he had Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
At the time, this was
Taylor Hall is not doing
this was
so
2
good.
years ago. They were tied for average points for in fantasy hockey. Pellin was like, you know what, I kind of want to switch up my team because we do. I hate go 6 months without making a trade and you got the same team.
Yeah.
It gets
Gets
stale.
stale, yeah.
And so I was like, you know what, they're the same age. Trade for Panarin. They're the same player. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna lose. Makes the trade. Not even 2 days later,
Yeah, it was
Hall's
literally 2
leg
days.
goes out and he's
Yeah.
out for the season. And now you know what Taylor Hall is and what Panarin is.
Yeah.
Big win. I had people messaging me in my league asking why I made him do that trade because at the time he was still unsure about the trade. So I till this day I still help him with trades every once in a while. But they were like, "Oh, what a horrible trade! Like you just made that guy so much better."
Oh, yeah,
and now they all
so
look like
funny.
complete idiots because
Yeah.
God, he's got Patrick Kane and Panarin, and he had Mark Stone, which he made traded, but you got the King's Court for that.
Yeah, I traded. Who did I trade? It was Stone and
A bunch of nobodies
yeah,
with Stone. Like it was basically just Stone for John Carlson, Petrie, Tavares. God, you got so much.
oh, and
from-
the Landeskog trade.
yeah, the Landeskog and Landeskog and Philip Forsberg for slacking Zibanejad at the time was
Yeah.
huge. And then you also got Marc-Andre Fleury from the Stone trade as well.
Oh, yeah, I
you
forgot
ended up
about
getting
that.
5 solid players for one. But that guy also needed a keeper because his keepers are getting old,
Yeah.
and he's not keeping Couturier this year, so that's going to be right up for grabs for me because I'm picking first this year. So, and I'm dropping Matthew to Chuck so I can keep Kaprizov. But anywho, this.
I think we pretty much covered
Yeah,
it all.
that was basically all hockey, but football's not on right now. The draft just happened. Obviously, Tom Brady, Mr. 7-ring Tom Brady, everyone knows that happened, so we don't have to go into context there. And, a big news, can't believe I forgot. Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay. He's played his entire career there, and now Aaron Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, says he does not want to play for Green Bay, and he will not play for them next season. And then their general manager's like, we're not trading him. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a bullfight in there. I would tell him to kick rocks. I'll just go home and retire. I ain't
Pretty
playing
much,
for you.
yeah.
So, but
If you're not happy with there, then you shouldn't have to stay there.
yeah, for sure.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah, I think that's about it. Baseball's pretty new and fresh still. I think we're only like 25 games into the season, so there isn't much to talk about there. And then, the basketball playoffs are going to start happening here, so you'll probably get more basketball videos than you normally would coming up just because it's the playoffs. And we'll probably, when the playoffs come for any sport leagues, you're going to get way more videos for that.
oh yeah.
Whereas hockey is probably going to be consistent. Even in the off season, we'll probably do NHL videos. Summertime's coming up, so there's some fishing videos maybe even. So, yeah, there's a bunch coming up. I shouldn't say short video here, but
If you're still watching this, thank you.
yeah, explanation video anywho. And yeah, UFL, just follow us on our social medias there. All the UFL except for Twitter's the UFL1. And yeah, that's pretty well it for me anyways, unless you have something to add.
No, nothing on my mind.
Yeah.
I think you pretty much covered it all.
Yeah.
Anyways, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you later.